7:05, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Right there. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm sorry.
I think we are all here. We had to step out for a minute. I don't believe we have any added agenda items this evening. All right, and so the next thing is minutes. We have our September 25th regular meeting minutes in the packet. Anybody want to approve the meeting minutes of September 25th? All right, 2024. Heather made the motion and Denise seconded. Is there any discussion or any notes about the minutes? I saw anything. Did anybody else?
Did.
All right, so motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Next on the agenda is public participation. I don't believe we have. Do we have any members of the public who would like to participate? We're good. All right, next we have our student representative report.
Broadbrook School is focused on learning. The beginning of the year assessments are completed. Teachers are meeting to review data and plan instruction. Students are engaged in learning tasks. Grade 4 classes started their program with our SRO officer, Lindsay Valencia. 4th grade band is off to a strong start. The little library donated by the PTO was installed by the main entrance on Rye Street. Students can shop for books anytime outside of school hours. East Windsor Middle School recently held elections for the 2024-2025 Student Council. Here are the elected representatives. 5th grade, Elijah C., Molly W., Barrett T., and Violet S. 6th grade representatives, Abby M., Aria M., Juliet P., and William H. 7th grade representatives, Angel W., Noah K., Brooklyn P., Elizabeth P., DDG, Naomi L., and Nana N. 8th grade representatives, Ruth D., Raiden S., Jace A., Joshua V., Tierney M., Ryan H., and Lacey T. Congratulations to our newly elected officers, Vice President Lorelei Standish and President Emily Colgid. Additionally, EWMS clubs have officially started. Students can now join various activities, including bracelet making, Lego club, jazz band, War Journalist Society, student council, craft club, and game club. And I do know we have some 8th graders participating in our high school jazz band this year and helping us out because we don't have a piano player. They're sounding super good. We're all super proud of them. East Windsor High School students participated in their first scholar check for the school year. All students received a Panzer report detailing their current process in several key areas, including exact path, PSAT/SAT performance, attendance records, behavior, service learning hours, and current grades. Students had the opportunity to meet one-on-one with an adult to discuss their individual progress, celebrate successes, and set goals for the future. This allowed students the opportunity to make changes if needed prior to the end of the quarter and get ready for the T/SAT school day on Wednesday, October 9th. This check-in is an important part of our commitment to supporting the growth and achievement of all high school students. I took the SAT today for the second time, and I feel like a lot of my grade felt a lot better about it. Taking it today, and we can use that to super score for our college. So it's looking good for us.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your input as well. All right, so we do have a list of upcoming meetings and events on the agenda. Patrick was sharing a couple had changed since the last meeting, so that was partly why we listed them again. Was there anything in particular you wanted to call out?
The only other thing I would add, I know Jessica sent correspondence to the board today, but the 26th for painting the crosswalk has been confirmed for Saturday the 26th, and the time is 1 to 3. So they're going to have activities during that time. I believe the rain date is the Sunday. So if anyone wants to join and come, we will have school reps there as well.
All right. Did anybody have any other questions about the upcoming meetings and events list? Right. Next on the agenda is the community and parent survey results, which I think we do have data here. Justin's going to speak to.
Good evening, everyone. This is an exciting time for me. I think for some of you who've been on the board for a few years now, this is our third consecutive year doing this community survey. And in going back from my old files, I had forgotten or neglected that a former version of me in 2019 did this survey here in East Windsor too. So I've got 4 years of data to crunch and pull together on this. Tonight, when we go through this survey, for those of you who are unfamiliar with it, or basically the survey looks at the expectations in the community of what they expect in our school system, and then what their direct experience is. And then between the two, we compare and see how close did the experience come to the expectation. It's sort of a gap analysis for those of you who deal with statistics and economics and such. So that's part of the survey. So let's get started there. One of the questions we're often asked is who participated in the survey. We'll see here that we have 200 parents or staff members with children in the schools participated in the survey. We also had 40 staff members with no children in the schools. And then we had an array of 9 who were residents of East Windsor that don't have children in the schools. And then there were 7 who listed as other. And I went back because Patrick was curious, well, who says other on some of those? One was a grandmother, one was an alumni who took the survey from somewhere outside of East Windsor, so they follow us on Facebook or such. Another person was someone who was a resident. Another person was someone who was a non-resident who used to live here, but they all chose to classify in that category. I always wish we could get more numbers in these, but getting this amount, I think we ended up with 320 or so respondents to this survey is a pretty good number for us, especially when you think about there's 1,100 kids in our school system. So that means there's 1,100, maybe less than 1,100 households. Think about how many families have 1 or 2 or 3 kids. So maybe it's 900 households and we get about a third of those, at least from the parent population. We also get asked last year, I remember, I think it was Betsy who asked this question, well, how many from each school? So what you see here is we had 66 parents responding from the East Windsor High School, 106 from the middle school, and 120 from the elementary school, which again is a really broad representation. I feel really confident about those numbers. I think I'll say this year, like I did last year, I always feel when I go through these that I'm on CNN and giving those polling projections for anyway, next slide. So when I talked about that gap analysis, what we have here is question 1 and question 10. Question 1, how important is the ability of teachers to challenge students at all learning levels and abilities? This speaks to rigor. This speaks to how much instruction is that teacher doing in the classroom with each individual child. And the value point there is that 73% of our parents think this is extremely important, very important. Then you look at that question 10, how satisfied are you with the ability of your child's teacher? This makes it more personal, makes you think about your own child's experience in the schools. And then what we pleased to see here is we have 63% that are satisfied and 23% that are very satisfied. You combine those together, we've got 85% of our parents who are satisfied, very satisfied that our instruction and our teachers are challenging every student at grade level. And I think that speaks to the curriculum work that our assistant superintendent has done. It certainly speaks to the work that our principals and leadership team has done in terms of focusing on what's really important in our schools. And again, that's this gap analysis. You see that we've got a 3 here and a 369. Again, I feel like I'm on CNN right now. You see that that's how close it is. That's a close margin for us. Later slide, I'll show you it's a wider gap of areas that we need to start to figure out how to improve. How important is the physical condition of a school building or facility in relation to student learning? This question comes in touch with other things we're talking about in school facilities here. You see that get 61%, 31% say important, so that's a 3.55. And then how would you rate the physical condition of East Windsor's educational facilities today? You'll see that 48% of our parent population or respondents say it's poor, 42% say average. So they know just as well as we do that our facilities need to be addressed. And this number has increased from the last couple of years, so more parents are aware of just what our facility conditions are and what we need to do to improve them.
We're really 10 who said it was excellent.
Yeah. Now, I will say I haven't done a deeper dive in this, but there's always a few snarky people who do things. And so some of the data I'm starting to look at, I'm sensing that a couple people might have just taken this for fun, but I haven't finished.
Yeah, we'll go with snarky for that.
I just say maybe slightly sarcastic on that.
Yeah.
At least you know that we have to say outliers.
Or they only come through that door and stayed in this.
Yeah. No, this is, relatedly, when you have a question about facilities, that does, in a very innocent way, get our population thinking about what do we need to do with our facilities? So as this board moves forward with facility programs, our parent population is definitely aware of these. How important is it for teachers or other adults in school to know the children in their class on a personal level? That's that one-to-one basis, and that helps with a lot of different areas in social emotional learning and so forth. And you'll see that our parents in population, 88% or so, think that's important, very important. And when you see down here, we've got another 40, 50, 60, 70% there say that our teachers do know their kids well. One of the things that, in talking with the superintendent about this, that I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah, I can speak to this a little bit is, some of these questions we intentionally pull from our, safe school climate surveys too. So they repeat at the end of the year, not the entire survey, but the ones, regarding, school climate, and Cheryl does that. But we also do this question with the students. So I'll use the middle school as an example. When the middle school did this question, like essentially, do you have a close adult that you feel comfortable talking to? I can tell you every student at the middle school answered that question, yes. And it wasn't just a yes, no, or leave blank. They actually had to go, and it was a drop down, and they had to pick teachers, and they could pick more than one. And I can say at the middle school, every teacher was selected, some number of times. And every department was represented. And there wasn't one student who self-reported that they didn't have a close adult that they could go up to. So we do look at this in other ways. Part of me wondered, is this more about like when you first are getting into school, you're talking about the first month and you're forming those relationships with most times new teachers. Just food for thought, but we will get this data on this question again at the end of the year.
And one of the things I also might add is in your packets is the complete raw data. And there are other questions that ask this same question in a different way about, does your child know someone in the school very well? And those answers, when you look, are a little bit higher than this. So this one is just specific to their class on a personal level. But when you look at the school on a personal level, the numbers do increase there too. These are another about our arts programs, visual and performing in the school day. I know that the board has made some investments in the last couple of years in these areas to improve or strengthen our arts programs, our music programs, and so forth. So I wanted to show you that, yes, these are programs that are valued by our community, and that the satisfaction rate of almost 75%, that's a good number to have. And obviously we have a little bit of work to do here, but we always have work to do on these. And these two questions, again, related to world languages, which is another area that our board has looked at increasing in the budget, as well as the music and chorus programs. And when we look at, what their satisfaction levels are here, we definitely got some work to do in terms of world languages. And then, but we are seeing a lot of improvement and are very satisfied on music and chorus programs, which again, I think focuses on the principals, the teachers, and the students, obviously, that are involved. The next three slides are about, one of the things that all parents are interested in. Am I going to be welcomed in my school? Do I feel informed in the community? And what's the facilities like and so forth. But you look at this one, I feel welcome in my daughter or son's school. You've got almost 90% of our respondents said they agree or strongly agree that they're welcome in the school. And I think that's a really important thing for any community schools, is to make sure that those parents do feel comfortable or welcome there. How informed do you feel? When we look at this one, it's across the board. But again, if you look, I feel very informed. I feel informed most of the time, and I feel appropriately informed. Those numbers add up to almost 80% and 78% or so. And then there's certainly some room for improvement there. I feel we were just talking about this, I think, in the finance committee about the facilities thing, that I feel my child's school is clean and well maintained. This is when we're able to go back to 2022 and see what our families thought then, and then compare it here to 2024. And you see those numbers have moved a bit, where it was strongly agreed 11%, is now strongly agreed is 13.5%. The disagree went down, the strongly disagree went up a little bit, but that also could be focused on the fact that we're bringing it to everyone's attention that we need to address our facility concerns. Teachers have high expectations for my child. You'll see that 88% or so say agree or strongly agree, and about the same percentage, 90% or so 2 years ago. So we're continuing to offer high expectations for students. This is one of the ones that I wanted to show you in the data that we know we need to do a little bit of work on, whether that's in the schools or with our parents' understanding of what bullying is. And this came up last year too, that 2 years ago, bullying is not a problem in our schools. 42% agreed, 41% disagreed, and 9% disagreed. Now we have 18% who strongly disagree. And so we're looking at those bottom numbers and saying, okay, what do we need to do to address that? And, oh, yeah.
I'm just wondering, is there a way to look at what school? Yeah.
Yep.
As what response?
So one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning is that we just closed the survey last Wednesday. So in that time to hear, I wanted to bring you the initial results and an overview of some of these, but I'm happy in a few weeks or at the next board meeting, we get everything else done to give you further analysis and to bring those data points purpose. But one of the things that we talked about with bullying, and we talked about this last year too, is making sure we inform parents of what bullying is and what bullying isn't, and even informing our kids of what bullying is and what bullying isn't. I think we've talked about a few times where, you know, someone pushes you and says, oh, I was just bullied, or someone says, oh, you're smelly today, and oh, you were just bullied. But, you know, where does that line and what that costs? The other part of this I can tell you is I was talking with Cheryl Gustafson today about this, and she said, oh, we're on top of all this. We've got 7 or 8 different programs that we're working on. One of them's kicking off tomorrow. And I couldn't memorize all these, but if you're interested, I did save them all. There's the Unity Day in October, the Great Kindness Challenge, the addition of the North Central Act of Kindness Award to middle and high school students. And there also, the thing that she said to stress was that there is a emphasis now on character development and on encouraging positive behavior rather than, you know, looking at what the definitions of that is. Darryl, did I get all that right? Is that I warned you, I calling you when you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So I have a question. So one of the things I think that Cheryl did, and Daryl, maybe you can answer this question. So the things are great that you're doing. They're one kind of shot deals. Are we doing restorative justice programming in the schools?
At every, yeah, restorative.
So that's an ongoing kind of practice, right?
What does that mean?
Well,
So restorative practices, I mean, it's essentially like, if you make a mistake, if you act out in class, your teacher might call you out and say, you know, what's going on? You try to have those conversations in private. But if the action is so egregious that it created some sort of a disruption in your particular class or whatever that might have been, in order to kind of get back into your community, you might have to sit down, you might do a circle and say, listen, I was having a bad day. I messed up. I apologize. And you might go around the room and I might hear from each of you to say, you know, this, Daryl, I appreciate the fact that you messed up, but this is how I felt when, you know, you were going through this. So really making a commitment to kind of restoring, since the restorative practice piece is restoring the community as it was previously. And so that's really at the middle and the high school. And then at the elementary school, we have responsive classrooms. So like every single day,
okay.
the students are beginning their day in a circle. And it's just it might be a specific prompt. How are you doing today? Or what did you do this weekend? Simple questions that allow the teachers to know their students on a personal level. And I mean, by doing the same things at the middle or high school, you get to know people, you know, whether they're participating in sports outside of school. And then you can ask them and say, hi, Betsy, you know, I knew you had a soccer game this weekend. How'd it go? And it's just about building those relationships. So
One of the things we could do is, that would be helpful, especially understanding where it's coming from as far as the survey results, is we have Cheryl come in, present to the board and speak to the social emotional learning work that's taking place at each of the schools and district wide, along with the family engagement that's involved with that work. So what we'll do is I'll work with Kate, have her on the agenda, and we'll have her come and share that work before the new year.
One of the things about these surveys that makes them valuable to us and you as well, I hope, is that it shows us these areas where either there's a real situation, I'm not speaking specifically to this slide, but then the survey results come back, there's one of two things. One, an example I'll give is, say our STEM program just at the high school just won some national award. And we get the survey results back and they all say that, you know, boy, the high school STEM program really stinks. Then we know there's a communications issue and that our parents aren't aware of what's happening at the school. Or we get the survey results back and they say the STEM program really stinks. And internally, we're all like, yeah, our parents know that, you know, we have to update the curriculum, we have to change the equipment, we have to change out some of the teachers, we have to address these as operational issues. So this is one where it seems to be more of the perception than the reality of it. And that begins the work of how do we communicate to families effectively of those at the elementary, middle, and high school of what bullying is and what the process is. And speaking of, this was that other slide I alluded to. My child has a close relationship with at least one adult in their school. On this one, say that 80% of our families agree and strongly agree with that. And it speaks to when I said before that in the class, that number was a bit lower, but when we ask the question in the school, the number gets a little bit higher. So sometimes it's more specific than that. Maybe it's the principal that the student has a really good relationship with. In other cases, maybe it is a teacher, or maybe it's a cafeteria worker, but it's somebody. I'm satisfied with my child's overall experience in the schools. We got an 85% of our families agree and strongly agree with that satisfaction rate, where it was about 70-80% 2 years ago. So we've moved the dial a little bit there too. I think I'm doing my numbers right there, right? 683. Yeah. Trying to math on the fly, and I'm a writer now. Yeah. So that one's not a positive too. And then we can. All things considered, these ones are public schools, offers my child or children a quality education, a healthy, safe environment. And you've got 87% to somewhat agree to strongly agree. And 2 years ago, that number was about 88%. So right about at the same levels there. And we purposely don't give them the middle choice. We want to see where it is. Where do we push you to? So I think those are really encouraging numbers too for, the delivery of services to students here.
It's kind of interesting that it's so strong with that question, but the bullying question
Yeah.
is different. Because one would think that the two would be kind of the same, healthy and safe environment.
The other thing I wanted to point out as we're looking at these numbers too, is if you look at the actual numbers, 6 and 11, they're really small numbers. So the yes percentages are still true, but sometimes you see the percentages jump out and you're like, wow, 5%. Well, yeah, there's only 11 people.
Yeah.
So the next step in this is I'm going to focus on further analysis of all of the data points from this year and the last couple of years and bring back to you some more accurate trends of this. But I wanted to give you the initial feedback on this. And then, as I mentioned, working with our leadership team to say, okay, these are perceptions that we need to address in our community, and these are operational issues that we need to figure out how do we fix. Go from there. Any other questions?
Yeah, I just one question. So I'm looking at the handout. I'm trying to visualize this one. So one of the questions was how important is school home communications to you? And it's 75%, right? But how do we really measure that? You know what I mean? So
Oh,
it's important,
Yep.
but then, what is that?
One of the other questions in there, and I'm happy to
Yeah, yeah.
talk with you tomorrow or the next day, but that
Yeah.
does have that same gap analysis of
Okay,
how satisfied are you
Yeah.
with our efforts and where's the
okay,
numbers, but that's all the data on that stuff.
thank you.
Did you, sorry, one other, did you do a gap analysis for the question regarding, the number of tutors and interventionists?
I haven't done that yet. I just pulled out these for now, but I will bring that.
Okay.
Yep, I'll bring back a full gap analysis at the next board meeting or 2 board meetings from now when I
Oh.
have that. But if you look on those, you can kind of match the questions yourself. And like, I will bring the presentation back for, you can see those numbers where it might be 3.09 and 2.65 and so forth, and just matching the questions that,
I didn't see one that matched for that specific question, which
Okay.
is why I was asking, but you probably have it. Maybe you just didn't include it in this handout. But that's fine.
okay.
Thank you very much. Oh,
I was
go
just
ahead.
saying thank you as well.
All right, so, All right, next on the agenda, we have new business for discussion. We have some Board of Ed subcommittee assignments we need to discuss.
Yeah, so,
Facilities for.
so most of them are negotiations along with, facilities. So I would defer to you, Kate, as far as, what order. I would say the ones as far as, most important for the negotiations is, the admin, the administrator should be taking place really any day. I will say it is an easy group, to work with. Those meetings are typically, in the evening. In March, we have three, the paras, classified and the nurses. Based on, the last time we were in negotiation with those groups, the classified took the longest, so that was quite a bit of time for those that participated in that one. And then, right now I do have, CAF negotiations. Those are outdated. Their contract actually ended, in June. So, we do need to, meet with them, and then, when we get to CAF negotiations, I have a request, but that can wait. So maybe we do that one last.
All right, so I was just gonna say for administrators negotiations, it looks like that one is.
Okay, perfect.
It looks like it's, Betsy, Gabby, myself and Heather on administrator negotiations. So I think we don't have a vacancy as long as we're all still good with being on that one.
So the only thing I would ask is, so for everyone that's on that one, is everyone able to meet? Because there will be some, evenings, that we will have to meet in October. And, you know, if needed, November. I think we are, again, it's a good group to work with. I believe last time we were able to do it in 3 meetings. Which is really probably the shortest amount you can expect for the work that gets done.
I mean, I'm almost done with SIB, so I'm fine with that. Mondays are a little bit hard, but I mean, I'll do my best.
Okay,
Yeah, I should be fine. Mondays are also like full of interview for me sometimes, but I should be fine if it, you know.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I can easily ask to stay away from Mondays too.
All right, and then were you saying, I'm sorry, certified, looks like it has a few vacancies. Is that one of them? And
Certified is not.
no, okay.
Um,
Cafeteria.
so I can make my request. So last time for cafeteria, I believe I checked in with the chair and, vice chair, but I did it, by myself. I'm comfortable doing it. It's an easy group. It is a small group. I defer to the board as far as, your comfort level, or if someone really wants to participate in that.
And I think that went in kind of, acted as a representative and then brought it back to us, obviously.
Correct. I didn't sign off on anything without the endorsement of the CAF, like I checked in, periodically as those progressed.
It would be tricky because of the transition to the new structure of, food service.
It is a little bit, yes.
Do you want somebody to be with you?
I mean, I can tell you, I am comfortable. I mean, I know where that stands, like with their, it's, written in their, current contract. But natural, attrition, the food
Yeah.
service company absorbs the employee. So over time, that union will not, essentially will become non-existent.
okay. with Patrick.
I'm okay with Patrick for now too. If it becomes a situation where you think there should be more of
Oh,
us.
I
then
will
there's-
request,
Yeah,
If you end up in a spot where you think, geez, board member would be good.
absolutely,
Come on.
absolutely.
all right. And was that it for those types of committees or?
Well, in March, you have the pairs of classified nurses, so just as, if those are filled,
March 26th?
Also that.
I was gonna say nurses, it says spring 2026.
yeah, so that should be, spring 2025.
Okay, so nurses is gonna need a couple,
So classified.
Classified has one vacancy, right? It looks like it's Gabby, Courtney, Heather, and then a vacancy in classified.
Classified is the
Secretaries
secretary.
and custodians,
That was a tough one.
yes.
Um, I. By springtime, I better not have the job I have now. So, I think I was on it the last time and I will do it again.
All right, so Denise can be added for classified as long as that's in the spring and her schedule opens back up again.
So I was the last time. How come it's not reflected here?
Because, they get updated every year, so maybe there was a change at the,
Must have been asleep. Okay. Oh, we didn't have it because it's every 2.
Yeah, I think it just kind of got, yeah,
Just, yeah.
some people switched around and then we can have that one. All right, and then I'm sorry, you said.
pair.
Reserves. All right, so we'll add.
Daryl, do you remember how many meetings Daryl did that one, last time?
Say like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So Courtney's on there and we can add Fran and then there are 2 other vacancies and then. Oh, Maureen, sorry.
I don't. Well, if I say yes, did I say yes at anything else? So nurses negotiations, will they would be different times?
It's spring.
Of course, yes, right?
Yeah, we'll probably start in March.
Okay. If you want, I can do that.
Yeah, they're a pretty organized group too, so
Yeah.
they get their stuff on time. You have
Yeah.
time to review it. They actually might start in February too, because they tend to be a little more organized. They tend to be a little bit more proactive, which is refreshing, honestly.
All right, so Fran, Maureen and Betsy said they would be amenable to jumping on paras. Okay. Paras.
Yep.
And then if we want to get nurses nailed down too, because you're saying that's actually spring 2025, I can add myself onto nurses. I think I have done that one before.
We can do nurses. Did we just do the nurses?
We did, but it was,
They were out.
That was a brand new one.
they were a brand new union, so like it was going back to the year that they put in the request to become the union. It was a 2-year contract to start. That went back like 6 months.
Yeah, so it was a shorter time period.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm willing to do that one again. So you can add Kate and Noreen, did you just say? And then we have Gabby and Betsy, as you were saying, you're on that one as well. So we might have to see about scheduling just in terms of if those are both in the spring. All right, does that?
Okay, can I just go through that list one more time?
Yep.
So Denise is going to join classified.
Yep.
Fran, Noreen, and Betsy are going to join para. And Kate and Noreen are going to join nurses.
Yep.
Okay.
What about the certified?
They're not due to, the following year. Yeah.
I'm gonna handle that all by myself.
Just like that. So that would be like,
actually wondering why.
it would be a year from now, right? Like fall of 25 would be, a year. We can talk about that.
How did you stay from there, friend? Did we all abandon you?
You are, you had a bunch of meetings. You were the superstar. Fired, baby.
Just note the date on nurses negotiations. We were just saying that it says spring 2026, but it's not actually. So that needs to be changed. We think it's this spring.
It is, I looked at the contract.
Oh, it's 25, yes.
It's 25.
Or 25, sorry.
I can see.
Yes, it's punishment because the last time you guys, I had to go home. That's right. This is why. This time I'm gonna have to play all. Binge watch. What did we watch?
Oh, we watched a movie.
We did.
We did.
No, we also respond to like dead to me or something. Yeah. I'm blanking. All right, the other thing in the word. Yes, it was bad.
Wait till it's fun.
I blanked it out of my head. I tried to block it.
Like I'm done.
I mean, when you go through mediation, you have long hours of waiting because the mediator's working and they tend to work with the unions longer. And so you have those long lull periods, that you do need to kill some time.
They work longer, they We just ran, got to blame the horses and the.
4 hours later, we're.
Just a question about how many meetings is the classified usually? Cause I know you said that one's like longer.
That one probably went, at least 6, meetings.
Okay. Cause I feel like for the spring, just thinking, cause if we're doing nursing and classified and on top of like budget workshops, that's gonna be a lot of extra meetings that I don't think I'll be able to accommodate. So I feel like I'll just do one or the other.
We may need someone else on nursing.
I'm fine with either one.
You don't need 4
Like-
either. Like if 3 are committed, that
Yeah, I would probably rather do nursing.
definitely recommend 1, 2.
Okay. So if we have 4 listed, we can kind of see how, and then see how it's working and
Yeah,
then you want to commit one or the other
Yeah.
when we get closer.
That's fine.
See what the schedule is. Okay,
Yeah.
that works. All right, so the other thing we need to talk about is, the facilities. Which is that on here? No one just knows. Facilities committee, facility subcommittee, because Noreen stepped down. Oh, sorry, I had flipped into the other one. Okay, so, Heather had put herself as she was interested, and I think she talked to Denise about it a little bit as well. Is there anybody else who is interested in being a part of that committee or?
It's a fun group.
And I know we were talking about the whole board kind of being available sometimes for those school facility meetings, depending on what the topics are, or sometimes we
Yeah, I
might
mean,
break
depend-
up.
well, I mean, obviously it's a public meeting, so whether you're sitting on it or not, you can attend as public too. So I know we've had a number, the majority of board members who are not on the committee attend as part of the public as well. Obviously recognizing the importance of the work.
Everybody can do it. Nobody else.
How long do you think the policy review will last? Because as you said before, that's gonna be, that will come to an end in terms of needing that.
It'll be more of a quarterly meeting.
Yeah,
I would say probably through February.
so,
It really depends on board feedback too, because they'll go to reading and
I was gonna say, we're still kind of
yeah,
reviewing
back and
the,
forth. There's a big one's coming
And
up
there's
too.
the
I was
big
just gonna say, I'd do this, but I can't, I don't want to over.
so
Yeah.
there's an unknown there too.
Yeah.
So as far as bringing like the entire,
Packet when we get
to,
to.
for a second reading to the board, it really depends on the level of feedback.
Yeah.
so that may still be active for a bit. And then as we've said, like, then if there are other policies that need to be brought up, we would probably still leave that for a quarterly meeting.
We might need to meet monthly, but quarterly would be sufficient for that. And just like anything else, like, I mean, if you had something that was timely, you could call a meeting at
You could
any
call
time as well, so.
Okay. So if there's no objections, I think we would add Heather to the school facilities subcommittee. And then, as we've said, it is a public meeting and people are welcome to come. And I know we've kind of talked about having different either potential agendas for when we're discussing the new schools projects versus the ongoing facilities or kind of repair schedules or those types of things. So we'll try to keep the agenda, whether it's like a half and half or whether certain meetings focus on certain things. We'll try to get those agendas out to people so you can be aware. All right, so Heather.
Oh, I found another thing. I stepped down from Board of Selectmen liaison. I feel like the last few months, like I've had a lot of stuff with Amplify on those days. So I've just been mostly following along with the meeting minutes.
I usually attend all of them anyways.
Have you been?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've been at most of the ones that Heather and I try to make it when we have something specific on the agenda. So if you want,
There.
so.
I mean, I'm
we
already
can-
on there.
Yeah, we can remove Gab and keep Courtney, but if you know, Courtney, that you have one that you won't be able to attend and you want to kind of reach out to Heather, we can, serve as a backup, that type of thing.
Yep.
I do try and go when I know there's something, specific on the agenda, or Patrick and I have touched base, but it is helpful to have someone there, even if we're not directly involved. So I appreciate that. All right. Was there anything else about subcommittee assignments that anybody has concerns with they wanted to bring up? Okay. Thank you very much.
No, I do have a question about, no, this is interesting, right? Capital Region Education Council. There are, there are 2 vacancies.
Yeah, that's been a hard one to fill. If somebody wants to fill it, I used to go and I can't do it with work right now.
Well,
You might be logical choice, Betsy.
I'm too logical. I think I want to do that.
Yeah, I think in the past it was a conflict for you and that was a concern, but
Oh, but not anymore. Not anymore.
He's real left.
I would be willing to do that one.
all right. So for the Capital Region Education Council Liaison, they do meet the third Wednesday of the month.
I think that's changed, so we'd have to reach out. Do you,
Month, is it?
I know they reached out last year. I know we came back and like I had a, it was a
I
great.
think I
story
still
of-
get an email.
I had to share with him that we put it out, and we just, based on when they were having the meetings, we didn't. Yeah, we there around 10 a.m.
I was gonna say, I think that they have subcommittees that are at 10 and then the main meeting is at 11, I think usually. But I would have to double check. I do get emails about it still. If you want, I can check.
Okay.
Jessica, if you don't get those, if you need me to like reconnect either Betsy with that or like I can connect you so we can connect Betsy if does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm gonna look into whether or not I get the emails.
Okay.
And then I can let you or Patrick know.
I mean, it's Greg Florio. I know you, so we would just read, he's the one that asked last time. So we,
Yeah.
between Jessica and I, we can reach out
Okay,
to
good.
him and say we do have a liaison this year.
And I mean, during certain times they did have Zoom availability, but I know they do prefer people to be there in person. So I'm not sure how they're doing it right now in terms of whether it's hybrid or whether it's fully in person. All right. Was there any other questions or anybody else? All right. Thank you very much. All right. And next on the agenda, we actually have liaison and subcommittee reports. So do we have any?
The finance, I mean, Ryan and Patrick go too, so, I mean, I think. Can't remember how afterwards to speak to that, but. Then that there was anything.
I mean, we went to Board of Selectmen as well, where they moved forward on motion again about
Mhm.
the specialist.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I got confirmation. I got an email today as far as scheduling a meeting, regarding, the owner's rep as far as CHG and IRA there, with myself, Joe Sauerhofer, Jason, and, I plan to have, Justin participate in that meeting as well too. So, just to like kind of open the door, initial conversation, so.
Okay.
So I should have an update, I would imagine by the end of the week. Could be next week, so within the next 2 weeks, I believe it's next week.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt though. Was there anything about finance
No,
that you
no,
wanted to?
nothing to.
Besides the CSG thing, the only other, topic in relation to us was we, signed an agreement with the town and the Youth Service Bureau for exchange of information with our school district.
Yes, yeah, it's common practice. I mean, we haven't really had a full functioning youth service bureau. But I can tell you it's a standard MOU that's developed by Gabe and Caps.
And I was gonna ask, yeah, what the status is in terms of the,
Well, the position's vacant because the person that was in the position had resigned. So I know the job is posted. Cheryl Gustafson is, on behalf of the board of ed participating, in the interviews once they scheduled. I know, right now, the YSB is back under Melissa Maltesi. It's my understanding, that, the YSB coordinator will report to her. I could be mistaken, but that's my general understanding. So there is some work taking place through Melissa. I know, Gabby assists with Amplify, but I know that's primarily through the USB. So they've been heavily involved in our school system, with monthly meetings along with, the community as well too.
Okay, I guess it was just something we had talked about, you know, a board member being either a liaison or being on that, however it worked in the end, but
Are
I
you,
wasn't sure. We discussed.
Are we talking about, the JRB?
Review board.
Or are you talking
Or
about
youth
YSB? Because youth service bureau it's a service, it's like employment. So when, JRB is like where you would report.
Okay, and that's what they were talking about for the.
They haven't really established that yet, as far as the JRB yet. I think with Cheryl and whatever, they're on an advisory committee, right, Patrick? Yeah, because I don't think they have a formal juvenile review board.
So you have, the SRO, Lindsay Valencia, and, there's another officer, Sanchez, that are leading the work. I know, Betsy, I did relay your interest. Ultimately, it's up to those two to
Yeah.
determine who's on that board. So, Cheryl did relay your interest to be
Okay.
on that. I just haven't.
Right, well, are they actually having hearings for kids yet, Patrick?
My understanding is they had their first one,
Oh.
within the last couple weeks. So it looks like they are, you know, as they're forming and getting the work.
Yeah,
they're
just
starting
kind
to-
of getting things going.
Right. Yeah.
All right, I guess I was slightly confused because I knew there was the justice. Yeah, and that makes sense in terms of that. I thought there was a different committee as well, that once there was a coordinator in the youth service position, I thought there was gonna be some kind of committee that we could be involved in, but maybe I'm misremembering that conversation.
I mean, we work in
Noreen.
partnership. I mean, they are youth, I mean, they are.
Noreen was nodding, so I'm like, is this like?
I think because the coordinator has left, it all kind of stopped. Or if there's like an advisory.
Board or something?
I know the only person who's been appointed to it is Sarah Musco. And they were starting to do that, and then it kind of stopped because we lost the person.
Okay, because I thought we had discussed whether we could have someone from the board as a representation on that, but.
Yeah, so I can tell
It's
you,
kinda like,
I'm not recalling. It's quite possible. I'm just not recalling. And, I haven't heard any recent conversation about an advisory board.
Okay.
it's kind of like the advisory board, like the FRC. It's just, you know, they get together, there's one. But they no longer have a coordinator, so.
All right. Any other liaison or subcommittee updates or
Heather and I have been actively participating in the capital improvement. All of the presentations have been done. And we start deliberations next week. So, we shared with the finance subcommittee that, the policy has changed for getting additional monies besides capital improvement, but it would fund capital improvement projects. So the town needs to adopt, the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance need to adopt a 5-year capital plan that we should be probably supplementing the 3 projects that we had. And we're not the only ones that did exactly what we did. The police only asked for police cars.
Yeah.
But they have some other long-term plans that they likely would probably add the same as us. Because what happens now, the law has changed for, it's called LoSiP. It used to be just to fund roads. And last year, they changed the policy for those funds so that anybody with a 5-year capital plan can go to that capital plan and say, I'm going to use that LoSiP grant money for this capital project because it is part of our 5-year plan.
So, we're likely gonna update our capital projects to include a few more, so that if money comes in that can be used for something that's on a 5-year plan, that is not one that is funded by capital, that, we'll be able to, maybe get some additional.
Yeah, I think that would be great. So I definitely appreciate, hard work on that, both you and Heather, kind of keeping track of it, and that's good.
It's good information too for us as a town, because a lot of times with SIP, roads are such a huge thing that comes forward, and it's, can never fund the roads fully, but they are a huge part of SIP, so
Wow.
they do. So, it's nice that this is gonna be an opportunity for us to be able to possibly fund some of the
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah,
Not
this
through
can-
us directly, but through the state, so.
And I will say the first selectman did do a presentation to the Board of Finance. So if anyone's interested in learning more, that would be recorded. You can, I believe the presentation was part of the packet as well,
Yeah,
too.
that was, the slides were, I think.
So thank you for that update. Any other, liaison or subcommittee?
Booster Club, sure, go ahead.
Booster Club is up in full swing. They've got all kinds of activities happening. There's a pie sale fundraiser happening now.
Stu Friday, my slip will be there.
Friday. Yep. And they also have fall designer bag bingo, November 10th at 2 p.m. So, they've got the powder puff, they've got the highway, they are doing homecoming dances, homecoming and senior recognition and
Is the theme a secret for trunk or treat?
Ours isn't, I mean, we'll tell you. I mean, we look, just to be respectful, we don't go in expecting to win. It's fierce competition.
Oh, they're brutal.
It's Jurassic Park.
Oh, cool. Nice. So get your dinosaur. Get those blow up dinosaurs.
Look at your
He has the blow up dinosaurs. Maltese.
Has one of those.
Maybe I'll borrow it because
His hands are plunged in it.
these are getting expensive year after year.
I might have a source for one too. You could have a couple. A couple dinosaurs? Yeah. They're hilarious.
So thank you, Frank, for that.
One
And-
night, one-
Oh, well,
Yeah, well, let's talk turkey. What do you get if you win?
Oh, a trophy, that's all.
No,
We've never won.
You wouldn't know.
You never will. The police spend a whole lot of money. I'm sorry, friend. In the
that's okay.
town hall,
Yeah.
That's the darn
they start planning the day after the thing.
Yeah. And they won't tell anybody what they're.
I know what they're
Things
doing.
are. You know what the selectmen are doing?
You should
Oh,
tell
that's
us. We won't tell anybody.
That's valid.
Well, then what just bring it up for? Why can't?
Have that information, but I can't tell something will happen to me.
Don't necessarily trust it when they were giving out misinformation.
Anyway, October 25th is homecoming night at the soccer fields at Abbey Road. The girls are playing, or actually the girls, I think, are getting senior recognition for that night. No, you don't know? Okay,
Do you know?
but there were,
I'm not sure.
there was yeah. So, and then the boys are playing a game, at 6 p.m. versus Stafford. Powder Puff is,
Is Powder Puff that night?
It's, Powder Puff's the 26th. I know it's actually the same day as, the Paint the Crosswalk.
Oh,
Gonna say, I know at one point they were different weekend or something in the past. And I saw a sign for PTO. Is PTO meeting this week? I want to say tomorrow.
yeah.
Huge fundraiser ends on Friday as well. They're doing pies too.
it's everywhere.
Thanks, everyone.
And order some time.
The Girl Scouts have treats and wreaths. Just hammered with fundraisers.
And if people are interested in purse bingo, let us know. Maybe we'll look into.
What, is it a Saturday?
It's a Sunday.
Oh, it's a Sunday.
I think it's a Sunday.
Sunday afternoon, usually
We can look into getting a table again or something.
Sunday, November 10th at 2 p.m.
going with my rowdy coworkers.
I was gonna say, Courtney sat with us, but next time she has her.
I'm gonna call your name.
So yeah, we had fun last time. If people are interested, we could expand the table. When is it?
November 10th.
November 10th at 2 p.m.
And how much for the cake? How much for the tickets?
They're $40 for my love.
And stones for Boosters.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
Actually, I believe that's that is a safe grad.
Yeah, it's usually the same grade.
They have raffles and they have music.
It's a
and
good
It's a
time.
lot of fun.
Yeah, they got some
bring your own
fantastic
toys.
bag models.
Okay.
The kids who did the modeling last year were like, we had Santana, Cameron, and Dorian Ribeiro, and they were walking around with these bags, and they were just, it was fantastic. It was great.
Where is it again? I'm sorry.
It's at the American Legion in Enfield.
Is it one of those that is a handbag and tools one again?
No.
No,
that
that
was
was
a-
handbags. I think I'm trying to get her to include another bag style
Hmm.
this year because my niece wants one. Oh, well,
Fully transparent, right?
yeah, they're slightly more expensive, but we're gonna see if we can,
Most of them were
Shake
Kate Spade.
Kate Spade, Coach, Michael Kors, and there's another one that I can never remember. She only gets 4 different types of bags.
All right. So anyway, if people would like to go, let Heather or I know and we can look into that. Public participation. Do we have any public this evening? I do not believe so. Do we have any other miscellaneous? I feel like we've gone off on miscellaneous. So. Anybody else have anything else miscellaneous that we didn't already cover? We do have some items in our correspondence. You'll see in your packet, sponsor a child, I think. Heather and I talked about the board has done that in the past. So if people are interested, we could, do that again as well. There's some information there, so we can follow up about that.
Yeah, I would just like, because the form's due soon, so, if Jessica can send on behalf of, the Board of Ed, but,
Okay.
she would just need to know how many,
How many did we sponsor last year? Was it 2 that we did last year as a board? It was 2.
I believe it was,
One child, one stocking. One child, one what?
I like to do the one for the teenagers too, because I feel like they always have a hard time.
The sponsor child.
Oh, so you can do like families, right? You're not gonna-
It's like they do it by age.
Yeah, it says sponsor a child for the holidays.
I
Yes,
think
sir.
last year we had a family event.
it usually is family. I can tell you, central office has done it every year. I want to say it's always been siblings that we've received.
As a board, that we've done it?
Yes.
My board did it last year. Central office by themselves have done it for several years.
again?
So that's what we're saying. Yeah. There's a form in here. I was saying we could touch base back about it, but he's saying that we should return it by November 4th.
Yeah.
So would the board like to do 2 families? Does that sound
Yes.
reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
We'll just do reminders as to when to bring the unwrapped.
unwrapped gifts. Yeah, we can remind the board, but do you need me to get you any further information, Jess, in terms of getting? it?
I'm just looking as far as saying that we're gonna do 2 families. It doesn't actually say that. It says how many children.
Yeah, this one says ages, and that's what it's saying here. It was what Courtney
Yeah.
was saying was the stocking. So there's either gifts for infants to 13 or ages 14 to 17 stockings. So,
I feel like one of each.
One each
I
or
think
2
one
of
of
each.
each. Yeah. I think one each would be good.
We'll always take extras too, like
I know.
even if like we don't specifically and just get an extra stuff, they'll take it and they'll find someone to.
Yeah, so we can report one of each.
okay.
And I think last year we did some cash too, and then they were able to buy gifts. If I recall correctly, we put money into.
I think.
I think I gave you money.
You can use for you.
Or you were gonna, somebody was stopping.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
All right. Was there anything else in correspondence that you want to call out specifically in terms of?
No, just,
It's
informational unless there's any questions, but, obviously I highlighted Barbara Kaminsky, and her recognition for her work.
And there's the painted crosswalk, which we already mentioned, so it has a date for that if people are interested in joining. And some updates on the bouncer challenge, and then also your memos to the Board of Finance regarding that.
Yeah, I can tell you, it's pretty self-explanatory. There was an adjustment to ECS due to excess costs. It has been resolved between our business office and the town.
It is resolved?
It is. Yep. So it's just providing the correspondence on the topic and how other municipalities reconcile it. So we always have had changes. The change was a little bit more significant than in past years. So that what led to increased discussion.
All right. Anything else in terms of?
I don't.
Okay, so we do have need for an executive session tonight.
I'll make a motion into executive session.
All right, so Heather made the motion and Carrie seconded it at 8:04. Executive session, so we can stop the recording, correct?
Yes.
Stop the recording and if people